Okay. Good morning, everybody. And
Good
thank you so
morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today for today's presentation on understanding and using Senior Center resource cards. What we do at the Senior Center is very multifaceted, but disseminating resources is one of the most important things that we do, and a lot of people are not aware of that. And our interest in having this program is to inform and also to meet one of the criteria of the recent age-friendly community survey that revealed that people in the community did not feel like they knew where to access resources about things having to do with aging. So this is our response to that. And we welcome all of you, whether it's for your personal interest or professional interest or just curiosity or something in between. You can never have too much resource information. It's always relevant, and it's always good to know where to tell people to turn if you encounter people who need the information. So with that, just introduce myself. I'm Ruth Nickens. I'm the Health and Wellness Program Coordinator at the Senior Center. And today our presenter is Nick Schrader. He is our resource coordinator here at the Tallahassee Senior Center. And I'm just going to turn it over to you, Nick.
All right, thank you. So yeah, as Ruth said, my name is Nick Schrader. I work at the Tallahassee Senior Center, and the Senior Center is, caters largely to more active seniors with their programming, but our resources kind of run the gamut, from very active seniors to folks that are largely homebound. So we've got a lot of good stuff here. I'm just going to kind of quickly, well, not quickly, but briefly kind of explain what I do, how we develop these resources. And then we will go, I'll go onto the website and kind of show you where to find all of the resources there. So as I said, and one second, my PowerPoint's not moving. I'm sorry, I'm having, oh, here we go. All right. So the resource cards are, these are, there are a total, I think I'm up to about 40, I've got about 48 different topics that are covered with these cards. So, and therefore, primarily I'm looking at local resources. That's where everybody's going to want to start. But then we also have regional and national resources that I can help people utilize as well. I update them as often as they need to be. If someone is no longer providing a service, I want to pull that off, so people are calling our places that are currently working. And then I'm adding things as they come on, different programs. There's funding that came down for COVID that created new programming. So I try to keep up with this. I mean, every week I'm looking at stuff. So the information that is on the website on the resource cards is very up to date. And as long as people are going there and looking at it, they're seeing the most current information. And so, as I said, so my role primarily is researching different areas of need, and then trying to find what is available here, what is available in the Panhandle area of Florida, and then nationally as well, and compiling all that so it's easier for people just to pull up this sheet and look at it and get started on trying to find what they need.
Hey, Nick.
So, yeah.
Nick, let me just interrupt. There's this issue with your sound. I think your microphone is rubbing against something, so we're hearing this kind of whooshing sound. If you could maybe move it away from your shirt or try something different.
It's just my computer mic. I can slide the computer away a little bit. Is that better?
That actually is better.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I was just too close to the laptop. Sorry about that. Okay. So then, all right. So then in addition to compiling all these resources for everyone, which is primarily what I do, if anyone needs additional help, I mean, I'm happy. I can get on the phone, or if people are comfortable, meet at the Senior Center one-on-one to kind of help them go through what they're looking for, what's available, and try to help them get get started with that. So I can do one-on-one assistance. I'm happy to do that. And occasionally if someone's having just trouble technically using, because a lot of resources now, just the nature of it, or you have to apply online. And there's still a few people that aren't super comfortable with that. And so if anyone needs help with that, that's something I have help with as well. So, all right. So then as far as like getting a hold of these resources, like I said, the website's the best place. And what I'll do in a bit is pull up the website and kind of show you where to go. It's just a couple clicks and everything's right there for you. You can always visit the Senior Center too, if that's something you want to do. There's staff there that can, if you would like a hard copy, print them out for you. There's the phone number I have here for the center as well. And then Sandra Stoudemeyer, who I work with, she is there. I am often not at the office. She is there every day. Her email address is there, and she can help with getting a hold of any of this stuff as well. And then also all staff have access to them. So if you just know another staff, that you have a relationship with at the Senior Center, you can always contact them and ask. All right, Ruth, so is it still an issue with my microphone?
It's not great, but I think it's okay. Is everybody be able to hear okay? Just give a nod of your head. Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's strange. All right. Okay, so then this is just, like I said, I think we're up to like 48. So these are kind of the topics that we have. And again, I can pull any of these up individually if anybody wants more detail. And I have a few examples to show as well. But this is just general topics. And then in addition to that, there's also these COVID specific topics, which I was kind of really heavy doing a year ago. They get less attention these days, but they are up to date. Any changes in, like, for example, with testing and vaccine information, some of that's changed recently, site locations, times, that kind of stuff. So I keep all that up to date for people if they want to know if they still need to get their vaccine, if they need to get a test. Okay, so this is just an example of one of the resource cards. This is typically what they look like. They're one page. I try to keep them to one page front and back so they're easy to utilize as a handout when we go out to areas in the outlying areas of the county. So this particular resource is communication resources. So probably the most notable thing here is the first one on the list, which is Uniper. So this is it's a communication platform it's designed for seniors. Basically what it does is it turns your TV into a smart device, essentially. Even if it's not a smart TV, it can still get set up with this. And what it does is it streamlines it. It allows you to do things like video chats or attend a Zoom class, anything like that. And all you need to be able to use is a remote control. So this is something it's relatively new to me for sure. It's free for seniors that qualify. So the phone number there is for the local Aging Resource Center. That's their 1-800 number, but they are local here and they serve the Panhandle area. But if you go through them, that's how you would qualify to be able to use this for free. And then also I have the GrandPad on there. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that. I have a friend who uses it. She loves it. It's just basically a simplified tablet. So it allows her to chat with her son. He sends her lots of photos and things that he has access to where he can load things on it from his computer. So that just kind of covers devices and platforms. Of course, Zoom, you guys, you're here, you understand how to use Zoom. And there's a few other, Google Meet and Skype are similar, but Zoom is probably the one to know since that's what the vast majority of people are using, especially if you want to be able to use any sort of virtual classes to the Senior Center or lots of other places as well. And then with FaceTime and Duo, FaceTime, if you have an Apple device, you probably know what FaceTime is. You probably used it. It's basically like making a phone call with a camera, video call. But what's cool about, or what I didn't realize until recently, my mom has an iPhone. She's always trying to FaceTime me for the longest time, and I kept telling her I couldn't because I have an Android. But then if you have Duo on your phone, you can accept FaceTime calls. So that allows you to work across devices like that, which is nice. And then Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, these are just messaging applications, but they have a video component. So that's something like if you're on Facebook, you might already know what Facebook Messenger is. But the nice thing about it, you actually don't have to have a Facebook account. You can still set up Facebook Messenger and use that if that's something that a lot of your family uses to communicate and you want to kind of be a part of that. So that's just kind of quickly what this is, so as an example. And then the next one I have is this as just another example here of these cards is the legal resources card. So this one kind of is a brief explanation at the top about what elder law attorneys are, what they do in their practice, a lot of probate, estate law, guardianship, things like that. And then we have a list with contact info for all of the local certified elder law attorneys. They're all great. I have personally worked with 3 of them. Victoria Hewler, Twyla Sketchley, and Jenna McConaughey. They're all really great. And so if you have the means to hire an attorney for any of these needs, this is where you would go. Any of these names will work for you. If you need assistance but maybe can't afford to hire an attorney, then the second page here has a lot of resources which are either free, work on a sliding scale, fee-wise. They range from local. So if you go, the first couple of ones would just, you've got information on reporting elder abuse, if that's something that you need to do. And then Seniors versus Crime, that's a really good program. And that's a number you would call if you believe you've been the victim of a scam, a fraud. That's their area. And then Florida Law Help, that's web-based. But then when you get down into legal aid, that's local, Leon County. So there's a number there and a website. Then Legal Services of North Florida, that covers the northern part of the state. Same kind of thing. They can provide assistance free or reduced rate. Only with civil cases. I don't think any of these handle criminal cases as far as the reduced rate services. And then, so there's Southside Law Center is another one. And then, okay, so those are all the, and I think I skipped over the North Florida Office of Public Guardian, which is another great one if that's something that you're in need of or know someone who is that needs guardianship assistance. That's a good place to start for that. But this is just, like I said, just kind of giving you guys an idea what these look like. So that's just 2 examples of the cards. So to get to them, what I'll do right now, I'm going to try to stop this, and then I'm going to pull up my internet. Let's see. All right. So does everyone see? This is the Senior Center Foundation website. Is everybody seeing that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the homepage of our website. So it's TallahasseeSeniorFoundation.org. The city, we're a city organization. The city also has a page on their website dedicated to the Senior Center. This website, Senior Center Foundation, is one that we manage and we're making changes, adding things to often. So this is a really good place to go for if you want to find out anything about what's going on at the Senior Center, about events. We've got lifelong learning, L3X is coming up if you guys are familiar with that. And then, so if you go over to the resources tab, so you click on that, and that's going to pull up the resources page. And all you got to do is scroll down. There's other information here as well. Past issues of Active Living Magazine can be accessed here. Also, the weekly email blasts that are sent out about what's going on at the center, those are also here too. So further down, this is where you get into the resources. So there's a full list of the COVID specific stuffs over here on the left, more general resources kind of run down the center. And then there's some other video links here on COVID information, and then a few other things up here. But yeah, once you're here, so you're just going to click on one of these. I'm going to open up the grandparents raising grandchildren. So it's again, same kind of thing. The formatting is all the same. So this covers resources that are useful for any grandparent or guardian, taking care of grandchildren. And I mean, first and foremost is the program at the Senior Center, Grandparents as Parents, which provides, they have like group counseling type sessions, I think twice a month, once to twice a month. Yeah, twice a month. Support groups are twice a month. They do a lot of referring. They help get, there's situations where kids need laptops for school or school supplies, things like that. They do what they can to help with that. But mainly it's a great place if you're in that situation to find support, to go to these support groups. They do, they used to provide, I don't think they're doing them in person now. I'm not sure, but I should have checked before I talked today. But when they are active in person, during those sessions, they have a little bit of a meal and the kids are able to hang out together too. So it's a really great sort of just community type atmosphere for anyone in that situation.
I'm curious if any of the attendees today are grandparents raising children.
Or if you know anybody in that situation.
Yeah. It's a very common scenario these days.
Yeah, it's quite a large group that we have in that program.
Yeah.
Really.
Over 100 families.
Yeah. And then so this just kind of goes down, and there's overlap between these cards, in certain cases, because there's a small legal section here. And then just if you need general seniors services, which there's some programming available through elder care services that would assist caregivers, money set aside specifically for caregivers that would apply in a situation like this where you're taking care of your grandchildren. So that's a good place to go as well. And then there's more resources here just for kids, trying to find activities for them. And a lot of times there can be, not always, but you can find maybe reduced rates in some cases if you're a senior in the situation for some programming. But anyway, so I just pulled this up just kind of show you that, but is there anything like any specific type of questions, or is there any resource you would like to get more information about? I could open up any of these here if you would like. There's a hurricane prep one, which I just kind of revamped. So this is basic information. I mean, the one really important thing on here probably is the special needs registry. If that's something you or someone might need, that's something you got to take care of ahead of time. You got to get registered to be able to access those special needs shelters. So that's really important. But this has it's just a lot of sort of basic information for keeping aware of what's happening during emergency situations. And then there's, right, yeah, so anyway, I keep pulling these open, but is there anything anybody would really like to look at? I can go back if you want to see the.
Nick, this is Rosa. I have a question for you.
Okay.
I am a counselor, and I deal with a lot of individuals with disabilities. And so since you said you had that chapter there for special needs, do you do resource cards, or do you know of anyone who has something similar specifically for individuals with disability? Because I'm finding, the same thing as with seniors. I'm finding that my parents don't have resources, and I am constantly attending workshops and groups and all this stuff, and I'm creating my own resource manual.
Okay.
But do you have something similar? Because I do have a lot of my parents who are actually grandparents of taking care of disabled grandchildren.
Okay.
So,
I mean, the first place that comes to mind, it would be Ability First.
Right, I have that.
Right. So then, I mean, this is just, I opened up this is just non-medical in-home services. Again, I mean, all of our stuff is geared towards seniors, but there is some overlap.
Right, which is why I'm asking, because I just realized that there is overlapping here.
Yes.
And I
Yeah,
may.
yeah.
I'd like to just interject here that everything we do, we are very participant driven. So we listen to what people need and then we try to respond to that. And I think what we're hearing is a need for a card that's specifically for people living with disabilities. And if we don't
Sure.
specifically have one, we can certainly
Right,
work
yeah.
on developing one.
Yeah, that's
That
not
would be
something I
awesome.
have available at the moment, but I could certainly, I mean, I think I've got at least one new card coming out this week. I've got 3 more I'm working on. So I'm always doing new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something I could definitely look into. But
And I would
think-
be more than happy to collaborate with you guys on that as well, share my
Okay.
resources that I have used. So I don't, that would be pretty
Okay.
cool.
I do have, so the only other thing I can think of at the moment, because I was looking here at Lighthouse, which they do services for
For the blind.
sight impaired, but let me go
Mhm.
back. I do have this low vision card, which has, so again, Billy First, Lighthouse is on here, but then there's also, so this is very, I mean, specific just toward sight impaired, but there are quite a few options here. So as far as like a general disabilities card, I don't have that, but I do have like a sight impaired. There's also a hearing impaired card as well, which kind of fits into that. But I could definitely look at something that's maybe more general disabilities, because I don't have something that covers everything.
And I think Christy could be a help with that too, because she's so connected to the disabled community.
Okay.
She might have some good ideas. So thank you for the idea, Rosa.
You're welcome.
We'll get to work.
I'm sorry I'm creating more work for you guys.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, one of the comments I was going to make was just to make sure you knew that we're participant driven. So that was a perfect segue into saying that. What are some other new cards that you've got in the works?
That I'm working on that I don't have available yet. Probably the next one is like a medical in-home services card that getting some questions about, but I just didn't have anything put together. There honestly isn't a ton, but I found about 5 places that provide it. I've found the names of 3 geriatric care managers that sort of will coordinate that stuff for people. So it's enough. I mean, it's a full 2 pages. It's really good information. I just need to finish tweaking the wording, but it'll be ready by the end of the week for sure.
Hi, Nick. This is Barbara.
Yes.
And I was interested in this webinar because my husband had a stroke back in November. It was a mild stroke, but a stroke nonetheless. And so I have been trying to find resources to, he's in outpatient rehab and I'm working from home, but especially during COVID, trying to find things to keep him mentally and physically engaged, ways that I can take advantage of, things for him to do, things for me to do with him. And also, I mean, I'm looking at your resources and I see that you have things like end of life planning. I'm trying to make sure that we have all of our legal stuff together. He's fine, but I think it's time to get that done.
Sure.
And so I am just amazed at all of the stuff that you have on here. So I'm really happy that I joined in. So I just wanted to say, one, thank you for putting this on. I had no idea that you had all of this stuff available. So.
And
You're
just
very welcome.
And Barbara, too, where Nick is showing right now, this is our Senior Foundation website. And if you're looking at for what kind of programs are there, what could you do, what you could participate in, that's all here. And
whoops, lost you.
I think she's frozen.
Yeah, she's frozen.
But so your husband though, is he having any memory issues as a result of the stroke, or is it really just is it mobility type? I mean, what I'm just trying, because I might have something here that you could look at. I'm just trying to get a better idea.
Sure. He has some cognitive issues. It's not awful. Okay.
Okay.
But he does have some memory issues. Physically, he uses a walker, a rollator, and we have a transport chair for longer distances. So, and it's getting, where, and I saw that you had a resource there for home, for things to make sure your home was safe, and do I need anything else? I put in grab bars, I have a rail, but as he progresses in age and so on and so forth, what else am I going to need? So, and like I said, especially right now during COVID, it's hard because I think I'm on a waiting list for adult daycare. And I'm looking at trying to work less hours at my job by the beginning of the year, so I can spend more time assisting him with things or taking him places to. They said the best thing for him for his memory and all of that was to keep him actively engaged mentally.
Okay.
And so it's
which is harder and harder these days.
Yes, it is.
Is he able to do much virtually to try to get some of that engagement, or is that, I'm sure that's an added challenge.
It is, and I can do a lot of it. I did was looking at some of your what is it, mind body balance.
Brain body balance.
Yeah, brain body balance.
And we have mindful movement too, so it's good.
Okay, that's right.
Right, yeah, so those things. And I did, the other thing that I saw that you started with was how to get that from my small computer onto my TV, which would probably be helpful for him because the computer's in a much smaller room.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, there's a few ways to do that actually. So there's that Uniper program that I mentioned earlier, which, I mean, that's going to require, going through, if you want to get it for free, you go through the local area agency and they'll get that set up for you. The nice thing about it is you could just, as I understand it, I've never seen one of these, but it's all done from the TV remote, which is great for someone that's just not super good with the computer. But there are other options, even if you don't have a smart TV. We have this
I do.
guide right here. Well, if you have a
but...
smart TV, it's not too bad to try to get something like Zoom up on your television.
Okay.
So you should be able to do that. But there's also, I've got a couple of pages here explaining different ways to make that happen, to be able to access the stuff on your television screen, because particularly for like the exercise classes or like, brain body balance, mindful movement, it's a heck of a lot easier to stand in front of a TV screen and do it than with your laptop.
Right. That was one of the first cards during COVID. This was one of the first cards Nick developed as we were transitioning into trying to help people use Zoom so we could continue programming virtually. And then, he did this, how do I cast it to my TV? And I just want to add there that about the technology, that's a really nice card he made about communication. But as you could see, it was a lot about different apps and platforms and technology. And we do have technology assistants here at the Senior Center. We have a group of volunteers who will get on the phone with you and try to help people learn how to use things or help them troubleshoot if they're having technology issues. So, that's been a big part of what we've done over the last year plus, as well as providing technology assistance, getting people fluent in these skills. I do want to say that the fitness classes, that would be great for you, for everybody, including you and your husband.
I could do them as well.
They're online, but we also have them in person now. So that might be, and there's enough of the space that you can kind of still socially distance and be in a room with other people. So I would really encourage you to try some of our fitness classes. Mindful movement.
That would be great for him.
It would be.
Yeah, because they said he needs that socialization and stuff, and it's been extremely hard to do. So
the brain body balance class at 1:00 Mondays would be a really great choice if you had to choose one. And maybe you could
Okay,
use that, you know, as your lunch hour too, since it's right in the middle of the day.
Yeah, my schedule is flexible right now, so I can do that. So that I'll check that out. So this is just amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Nick's done a great job. He's been such an asset to the staff, and he's really got these cards. We call them cards. They're actually full page sheets of paper. He's got them really just written really clearly and very, very up to date. And so it is just a great set of resources for folks. I also wanted to just comment, Nick mentioned the weekly newsletter that we send out. That's called Constant
I get that.
Contact. And if there's anyone on here that doesn't get it, that would like to receive it, actually Lisa's in this meeting and she could be helpful. Just chat your email address to us in the chat box if you know how to do that, and we can add you to the Constant Contact list, and you would get a weekly newsletter that is full of really good information about what's coming up. It's not, you know,
Right.
it's not ads or anything like that. It's just information about what's coming up at the senior center. And sometimes it's
Yeah,
just
I highly
information.
recommend it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's been really a great source of communication for us these last year plus.
Well, did anybody have any other questions that I could answer? All right, I'm gonna hop out of this for a minute and back into here. Okay, so yeah, so the only other thing I was gonna mention, I mean, just real quickly, I mean, like I said, we showed you how to get on the website to get to the resource cards. It's pretty straightforward. But you know, say you're checking it out for somebody else that doesn't have access. You can always, they're all PDF files at the moment until that may change in the future, but for now they're all PDF files, so you can easily print them out if that's something you want to do. There's also like these little buttons that you see at the bottom of a lot of the pages. And what that'll do, if you click on one of these, it'll allow you to go straight into, like, say if you were to click on the Facebook button and you have a Facebook page, what this will do is it'll go straight into your Facebook with and bring in the link for the web page and allow you to pop that up in a post or something if you want to make somebody aware about something you saw that you think could be useful. But you can do the same with an email by clicking the email button as well. And then this is just a quick little, like, you know, where I get ideas for what to do. We kind of talked about that already. I get suggestions from lots of places, and I am more than happy to try to track down resources for any of them and spend a lot of time working on that. So, but that's pretty much it, unless there's more questions. This is just my contact information, and then Sandra, who I mentioned, who I work with at the center, she's kind of more the face of a lot of this because she is there if anybody is popping in and can help you out. And then there's our number and website again. So that's probably all I've got, unless anybody has any questions.
Okay, well, Nick, do you want to chat your, text your phone number? What am I trying to say? Type in your phone number and your email address. And so if people do have questions that they think about later, they can reach you.
Here it is.
I also put mine in the chat box. And I see that Rosa would like to get the constant contacts. I've made a note of that. And thank you so much for being here. Lisa says that if you're asking to be on the constant contact, you'll get a newsletter in your email on Tuesday mornings. And it says, it'll say from Sheila Salyer at the Senior Center. So it's, and also check your spam box in case you don't get it, but you've asked for it. Sometimes it goes to spam. Okay, well, if no one has any other questions, I just thank you all for being here. Take good care, stay safe, and please reach out to us if you need anything. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank
care.
you.
All right.
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.